Chapter 1. A Win-Win Attitude. Winners have willpower. Losers have won't power. How is it that under the same set of circumstances, some people break records while others break themselves? The difference lies in our attitude. Success does not depend on our position, but on our disposition, which is our attitude. It is well said that success depends 10% on what happens to us and 90% on how we respond. What makes a winner? According to an ancient tale, once an old Indian chief was teaching his grandson, imparting wisdom about the constant battle being waged within us, between the two wolves inside each one of us. One is evil and the other good. The evil one is greedy, arrogant, selfish, crooked, and egoistic. The good one is peaceful, calm, happy, gracious, generous, honest, and compassionate. The grandson was confused and he asked, "Which wolf will win?" The grandfather replied, "Son, you have a choice. Which one wins will depend on which one you feed the most." The worst kind of battles that ever take place are those within a person, those that are internal. To win these battles, we need to know who the real enemy is. Only once you strike the real enemy, you can overcome your internal battles. When you want to run away from your problems, you take a vacation. But then, if you don't know how to get rid of them, you take them along with you on your vacation, carrying all that turmoil inside. We all have two natures within ourselves. Nature number 1 wants to do what is fun and convenient, which may or may not be the right thing to do and could even be self-destructive. Nature number 2 guides us to do the right things that lead us to happiness, even if they are inconvenient in the short run. But it's nature number 1 that predominantly takes over nature 2. We know things that are not good and healthy for us, that mess up with our lives, but we do them anyway. Our best intentions are not good enough. In life, we need to overcome the vices that pull us down and strengthen the good that lifts us up. Many people do not understand why they don't do the good they want to do and continue doing the wrong they don't want to. People understand and can differentiate the right from the wrong, but they still continue doing what's wrong. Good intention with bad action is common practice. We all have the desire to be good and do good, but when we examine ourselves, we fall short. If we actually did all the good things that we already know to be right, then life would be a total delight. Life would be a lot easier if the world was divided into the good and the evil. We could retain the good and get rid of the evil. But that's not the way things are. The battle inside is to do what is easy, quick, and convenient rather than what is the right and the best thing to do. Thinking, believing, and knowing what's good is not good enough. Doing is. Attitude is a choice. A positive attitude does not mean that a person is blind to facts, nor does it mean that he has to agree with or accept everything in this world. It only means that he is a solution-focused person. It is the ability to see and smell an opportunity in every problem. It is about persistence and determination, not discouragement and depression. Become solution-focused, not problem-focused. Many times in life, we discover new scenery, not because the landscape has changed, but because we are seeing it from a different perspective, and the difference is in our attitude. Attitude makes all the difference. It can make or break lives. We might understand it better by looking at the philosophy of an ant who sets an example of how to look at an obstacle. Have you ever seen an ant sitting idle? Probably not. Why? Because ants never sit idle. It is not in their nature. They are hardworking. Ants never quit. If we try to block their way, they will go up, down, sideways, but they will not stop. How long do they keep trying to overcome the obstacle? Till they find a way to rise above it. So, obstacles don't stop them, and they shouldn't stop us either. They persist. Ants are far-sighted. They don't think only about summer and summer. They are busy collecting food and preparing for the winter. That's why they are in a rush all through the summer season. You never see an idle ant unless it is dead. Ants have a work-life balance. They work during summer and rest during winter. They hibernate to conserve energy. They know when to stop working. Ants are purpose-driven. Their sole job is to look for food for their mates. They don't get distracted. They are focused. Ants can carry big responsibilities. Although ants are small, their contributions are big. They can handle up to 100 times their body weight. The philosophy of an ant can be concluded in one sentence. They are hardworking, purpose-driven, and far-sighted. They don't quit, and they maintain great work-life balance. To change reality, you need to change your mentality. During illness, we seek an exceptional doctor. During construction, we seek an exceptional engineer. And during war, we seek an exceptional general. What makes them exceptional? It is their attitude. Attitude is more powerful than skills, academic qualifications, good looks, place of birth, connections, and everything else put together. Whenever we speak well about a man, do we refer to his looks, clothes, face, or academic qualifications? No, we refer to his attitude. Imagine that you have 4 glasses. The first one is plastic, the second ceramic, the third steel, and the fourth silver. If you fill apple juice in each one of them, would it taste different because of the containers? The answer is no. It is not the container that decides the taste, but what is inside each one of them. Attitude is a habitual way of thinking and feeling. It is a viewpoint, a frame of mind, a thinking process, and a way of looking at things. It is our standpoint, our approach to things, or our reaction to situations in life. Diseases of attitude. Pessimism and negativity are as dangerous or even worse than the diseases of the body, like heart issues, blood pressure, cancer, etc. We need to learn how to handle these diseases. Pessimistic behavior. Who is a pessimist? A pessimist is well defined as someone who goes to the land of milk and honey, and the only things he can see are calories and cholesterol. That's a man who is obsessed with problems and is prone to problems. There are some people in the world who give you a problem when you present them with a solution. They have a problem for every solution. A pessimist says, "It may be possible, but it's too difficult." Whereas an optimist says, "It may be difficult, but it's possible." The pessimist focuses on the difficulty, not on the possibility. Achievers look for solutions for every problem, and losers look for a problem in every solution. Somebody defined optimists and pessimists as brilliantly as this. An optimist is one who wakes up in the morning, sees the bright sun shining outside and says, "Good morning, God." On the other hand, the pessimist is someone who wakes up in the morning and opens the window, sees the bright sun shining and says, "Good God, it's morning." They keep spreading their pessimistic attitude among others like the plague. They keep collecting and compiling tons of reasons why something cannot be done. They keep figuring out what's wrong with things. They never want to see what's right. They don't look for positives. They keep looking for negatives and are delighted when they find them. The bigger the number of negatives, the merrier they are. Why? Because they found what they were looking for. They never cherish the sunrises or the sunsets because they are too busy seeing the spots on the window. Positive people not only reinforce their attitude but also protect it from contamination. Why do we send our car for servicing periodically? Our car needs servicing every few months and we need to change the oil and filter periodically. Such preventive maintenance increases efficiency and the productive life of the car. Chances of a breakdown go down and effectiveness goes up. You optimize performance. The big question is, what's different about a human mind? Don't our minds need to be serviced periodically for rejuvenation? If not, wouldn't they burn out and break down? Attitude goes on from one generation to the next. No wonder some families and societies are inherently positive, whereas others are inherently negative. Stop being negative and look for the positive. There is an ancient tale about a king who had a close friend who always looked at the positives in life. To anything that happened, he would say, "It was for good." One day the king accidentally cut his thumb and his friend, as expected, said that there must be something good in this. The king, who was in pain, lost his temper and sent him to jail. A few months later, the king went hunting and got lost in the woods. Inside the deep forest, a tribe held him captive to offer as a sacrifice to their gods. As the priest was tying up his hands, he noticed that the king's thumb was missing. Being superstitious, he felt that this would be an incomplete sacrifice and would attract divine rage. He set the king free. When the king came back, he introspected on his friend's remark on everything happening for the reason when he had lost his thumb and felt very remorseful. He went to his friend and apologized. The king said to his friend, "You were right. It was because I lost my thumb in that accident that I am alive today. But wasn't it bad that I sent you to jail?" The friend said, "No, it was for the good." The king wanted to know what was good about it. The friend replied, "If you had not sent me to jail, I would have accompanied you on the hunting trip, and today I would have been the one to be sacrificed." If you analyze the story above, you will see that the objective is not to be fatalistic but to be optimistic. Look for the positives. A positive thinker is an optimist. We cannot always change the circumstances, nor can we change the reasons or the seasons, but we can change ourselves. Permanently blaming others is a colossal mistake. There are certain things that are beyond our control. If there are 4 seasons, summer, winter, autumn and spring, can I make them into 2 or 10? Definitely not. Nor can I choose my own 2 winters, 5 summers from the coming 5 years. Doesn't work that way. We have to take things as they come. So, what do we really need to do? We need to change our attitude and thinking. Once we change our own thinking, we stop playing the blame game. When we address the real problem, which is implanted in our own thinking, we find that life, physically, financially, and spiritually, changes for the better. W. Clement Stone, owner of a large insurance company in the US, would always say, "That's good, what a great opportunity," even when something went wrong. Good, bad, right or wrong didn't matter to him. In the process, he would always consciously make efforts to look for something good and eventually find it. Somehow, his objective was to convert a bad situation into a good one at all times. Can we always make a good choice in a bad situation? Yes, we can. If others want to live a petty life, then let them. But why should we? If others want to argue over petty things, then let them. but why should we? If others want to cry over petty things, then let them, but why should we? If others want to leave their future in the hands of others, then let them, but why should we? Change is uncomfortable. Attitudes are patterns of thoughts or thought patterns. When we think differently, our attitude changes, but any change is uncomfortable, even a positive one. There are some people who are so comfortable in their dungeons of misery that stepping out even for freedom is uncomfortable. They suffer from the victim's complex and they are permanently sympathy seekers. Those who resist the change make excuses and rebel by saying, I have my free will. I will decide when I want to change. I don't want anybody to pressurize me. And so on. Do we really live in a free world? Are we free to choose everything in life? The answer is absolutely not. In fact, some of the most important things in our lives are beyond our control. For instance, could we have chosen where we would be born? Obviously not, but we accept it and celebrate it. Did our parents choose us? They probably didn't have a choice. We didn't choose our brothers and sisters either. Did we choose our neighbors? Even countries cannot choose their neighbors. We didn't choose the country we were born into. We can choose the kind of shoes we wear, but could we have chosen the time we were born? We can choose the color of our car or clothes, but not our skin. If everything were within our control, then why would an ophthalmologist wear glasses? Why would a gastroenterologist suffer from acidity? Why would cardiologists have heart attacks and cardiac surgeons go through bypass surgeries? The only thing we have a choice in is the way we deal with the world. It is our attitude. Bruce Lee, the great martial artist, had one leg shorter than the other by 1 inch. But he didn't complain. He was nearsighted and had difficulty seeing an opponent without contacts or glasses. Despite these shortcomings, he practiced 5,000 punches every day. No wonder he became a martial arts legend. He made a choice to persist. He realized he had a problem, but he chose to turn it into a purpose. Bruce Lee said, I feared not the man who had practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I feared the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. The pedigree of a horse is judged by his breeding and training and not by a fancy stable. Achievers create an antenna to attract positive thoughts and a circuit breaker to disconnect negative thoughts.